Hi, in this video, I will use geometry nodes to create this text animation. As you can see in this text string, the border is getting animated character by character, and then the text body is also appearing in the same sequence. Let's go to the geometry nodes tab, and here we will select this cube and create a new geometry nodes tree. We can delete the group input node. And now I will bring string to curves node. Here we will pass a text string, let's say Italy, and connect it to the group output. So now in the viewport we have our text Italy. We can align it using the alignment option in string to curves node. Now it is perfectly center aligned. Next I will add trim curve node. As you can see, it has two parameters, start and end. And if you change the value of these parameters, the curves of the text will appear and disappear. And this node is going to be handy in creating the border animation of the text string. Now let's add an empty object. We can keep it over here like this. And now drag the empty object in this geometry nodes tree. So it will automatically appear as object info node. And also bring in the position node. Now we will use a couple of separate XYZ nodes to find the distance between the empty object and the text string. And this distance is going to be along the x-axis. So this is how we can find the difference between the x coordinates of position and the empty object. Also connect map range to the result of the difference. Okay, so now I will be connecting this map range node to our trim curve node. Let's connect it to the start input, and you can see the text has disappeared. Now if I grab the empty object and move it across the x-axis, our text curve starts to appear slowly when we drag the empty towards right. Let's add a couple of keyframes for this empty object. We'll be animating it like this. So one keyframe is at the first frame and the second keyframe will be at the 150th frame. And also reduce the duration of this animation. At the moment, the curve of the entire text string is getting animated together. But we want this animation to take place character by character. So here we can play around with the value of 2 max in map range node. So as you can see, with the current position of empty, it is right now affecting only the first character. Let's make it 1.7. So now we are able to achieve the objective of character by character animation. Right now we are only animating the border of the text string, which is itself a curve. And each character in this text string is getting treated as an instance. Let's select all these nodes and press F on your keyboard. You can give it a label. So now it's going to be a frame or a group of nodes. Let's call it movement of empty object. And select this box and press N on your keyboard, and this menu will open up. Here you can set the colors for this box and also increase the size of the title like this. Let's also add some geometry to our curves. So we can use curve to mesh node, and for profile we can use curve circle. So now this text border or curve will appear like tubes. Okay, we can reduce this radius to maybe like 0.002. I think it is too small. Let's make it 0.004. Okay, it looks good. Now that we have converted our curve into mesh, we can add material or texture to this mesh. Let's add a new node, set material, and place it between curve to mesh and group output like this. Now in the side panel, we will go to the material properties and change the name from default material to something like text border. We can change the base color and other settings. You can use any color of your choice. And also set emission color and increase the strength to 2.5. In the node also select the same material, text border, and now in the render view, in the viewport, it will look like this. Now let's select all these nodes and put them into another group. We can call it text border and press N on your keyboard. After selecting this group, change the color and also increase the size of the title. Now I will also add the text body, and we can use fill curve node to create the mesh, and use join geometry node to add this mesh to the text border. There you go. So now we have our text border as well as text body. Let's add set material node over here and create a new texture. Give it a name. Let's call it text body, and select some color. Also select the emission color, and in the node select the text body material. Let's change the color to dark blue. Yeah, this is looking better. So our border is getting animated, but the text body is static at the moment. Now the next task is to animate the text body as well. For that we will use a node called store named attribute. Change the domain to instance. Now we will connect the output of map range from this node group to this node store named attribute. And here in the name field, let's call it empty position. You can give any name, it's a variable. And also copy this name. Now we will use this attribute in shader editor to pass the information of empty location to our shader. So let's add a color ramp node and connect it to principal BSDF. Connect it to both base color and color. And if you feel like, you can change the color. Now let's add a node called attribute, and here we will use the same variable empty location, sorry, empty position. And if you play the animation, the text body of characters is also getting animated. However, it is losing the color as the empty object is moving across the text string. We want the reverse to happen, so therefore we will flip the color in color range in color ramp node. There you go, it looks good now. So now let's put these nodes into a new group. Let's call it text body. You can press N on your keyboard, change the color, background color of this group, and change the size of the text. And in the render view, our final mesh or text string will look like this. Let's remove the grids and 3D cursor. Now let's play the animation. So both the text border and the text body is getting animated now.